The vast emptiness of deep space stretched out before the starship Endeavor. It was a lonely place, far from any known stars or planets. Only darkness and silence filled the void. Inside the ship, the crew felt that silence too, heavy and cold. Captain Mira looked at the blinking screen on the control panel. The ship's main engine was damaged and they were drifting. The stars outside were distant pinpoints of light, but none was close enough to offer help. The crew was trapped, in the middle of nowhere. "We have no power to fix the engine," said Alex the engineer, his voice tired. "We tried everything, but the damage is bad." Mira's heart sank. They had been on a routine exploration mission scanning new sectors for life and resources, but something had gone wrong. A sudden meteor storm had hit their ship, damaging the engine and communication systems. Now they were stranded. The crew gathered in the control room. They were a small team, 6 people, all experts in their fields. They shared the same worry in their eyes. How long could they survive here? Mira's voice was calm but serious. "We need to send a distress signal. Someone out there has to hear us." Alex nodded and started working on the radio transmitter. But when he tried to send the signal, the ship system responded with silence. "The transmitter is damaged too," he said. "Our signal might not go far." Days passed. The crew's hope faded with every passing hour. They rationed food and water carefully. The silence of space became louder and more frightening. One night, while Mira was alone in the control room, the ship's scanner beeped suddenly. She jumped and stared at the screen. "Wait. What is that?" she whispered. The screen showed a faint blip far away in the darkness. It was weak but steady, a signal. Not from their ship, but something else. Mira called the crew. "Everyone, come look at this." They gathered around the scanner, eyes wide. The signal was unlike anything they had seen before. It was a slow, repeating pulse. Alex scratched his head. "It's not from any known ship or satellite. Could it be a distress call?" Mira's heart raced. Could this signal be a sign of life? Or was it a trap, something dangerous hiding in the shadows of space? They decided to follow the signal. The Endeavor adjusted its course, slowly moving toward the source. The journey was tense. Every crew member watched the scanner, waiting for the signal to change. Days passed again, but the signal stayed. It grew stronger, and hope returned. Suddenly, the scanner showed more than just the signal. Something else appeared. A small shape, drifting silently in space. Mira ordered the ship's external cameras to focus on the object. The images came through slowly on the main screen. It was an old ship, broken and lifeless. Its hull was cracked and scarred. No lights were on. No movement. "Looks abandoned," said Juno, the pilot. "How long has it been here?" "No idea," said Mira. "But it's near the signal. Maybe whoever sent that signal is inside." They prepared to board the derelict ship. It was risky. They didn't know what dangers awaited. But they had to try. 3 crew members put on their spacesuits and stepped into the airlock. The door opened slowly, revealing the silent cold outside. The Endeavor docked with the abandoned ship. Mira watched from inside, feeling the weight of the moment. This could be their only chance to find answers, or it could be their end. The boarding team entered the broken ship. Inside, it was dark and empty. The air was stale and dust floated in the low gravity. They moved carefully through the corridors. Lights flickered weakly in some places, but no sign of life. In the control room, they found the source of the signal. A small device, still, sending the pulse. "Looks like an automated beacon," said Alex. "It's been on for a long time." Suddenly, a shadow moved in the hallway. The team froze. "Who's there?" Juno called out. No answer, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. They searched the ship but found no one. Just strange markings on the walls, symbols they didn't recognize. Mira took a deep breath. "We need to take that beacon back to Endeavor and analyze it." The team returned to their ship, closing the airlock behind them. Back on the Endeavor, Alex connected the beacon to their computers. The device was old, but had data stored in it. As the data loaded, the crew gathered around. The screen showed a message, a warning, danger, stay away. The area is controlled by hostile forces, the message said. Mira's face turned pale. We are not alone here. Something dangerous is out there. The crew understood the truth. Their hope of rescue had brought them into a trap. The Endeavor's lights flickered again. The ship's systems showed signs of interference. We have company, Juno said, eyes on the scanners. A large shape appeared on the radar. A ship, unlike any they had seen before. It was dark, fast, and closing in quickly. Mira ordered the crew to prepare for defense, but they were still weak and unprepared. The stranger ship stopped near them, sending a cold signal, a demand to surrender. The crew's fear grew, but Mira stood firm. We will not give up, she said. We will fight to survive. The silent signal had led them here. Now they had to face the unknown threat. The battle for survival in deep space was about to begin. The strange ship hovered near the Endeavor, its dark shape blocking the distant stars. The crew watched nervously as the shadow moved silently, its intentions unknown. The scanners showed no sign of weapons, but that gave no comfort. No one knew what these visitors wanted. Inside the control room, Mira's eyes searched the unknown ship's outline. Who are they? She wondered aloud. Why are they here? Juno, the pilot, studied the readings carefully. They are different from any species we know. Their technology is advanced but quiet, almost like they want to hide. Alex worked fast, trying to boost their ship's weak systems. If they want to communicate, we should try. Maybe they are not enemies. Mira nodded. Send a message, simple and clear. Tell them we mean no harm. The Endeavor sent a basic signal. For moments, nothing happened. Then, a reply came. A series of strange sounds and lights, unlike any language the crew had heard before. Alex tried to translate. It's not a language we recognize, but there is a pattern, maybe a warning. The crew grew tense again. What could this warning mean? Were they being told to leave, or was it something else? Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered, and the atmosphere inside felt heavy, like the weight of space pressing on their chests. Mira took a deep breath. We need to stay calm. Let's study this carefully before we act. Hours passed as they analyzed the signals. The strange ship remained close, silent, but watching. Then, a new message came through. A series of images. They showed ruined planets and empty star systems, places once full of life but now silent. Mira's heart sank. These places, something happened here, something bad. Juno added, maybe the same fate could come to us. The crew felt a cold fear. The vast universe suddenly seemed even more dangerous. But amid the fear, a small spark of hope appeared. One image showed a human warship, strong and bright, moving through space with power and purpose. Mira whispered, humans are out there. Someone is watching. Alex looked up. Maybe they will find us too. Just then, the strange ship moved away slowly. It left a small floating device behind, pulsing softly. The crew reached out and took it inside. Alex connected it to their systems. It was a map, a star chart with a path leading to a place marked as safe. Mira smiled for the first time in days. This could be our way out. But deep inside, she knew the journey would be hard. The universe was full of mysteries, and not all of them kind. The crew prepared to follow the path, their hope growing stronger. They were still alone in deep space, but now they had a direction and a chance. The adventure was only beginning. The Yao crew of the Endeavor gathered around the glowing star map, the soft light reflecting in their tired eyes. For the first time in what felt like forever, hope was no longer just a distant dream. It was a real path they could follow. Yet, the unknown lay before them, wrapped in mystery and silence. Mira stood before her team, her voice steady but full of determination. We have a chance now. This map points to a safe zone, but it's far from here. We must prepare carefully. Alex was already busy checking the ship's systems. Our engines are still weak, but if we take it slow and steady, we can make it. The crew set to work, each member quietly focused on their tasks. Despite the tension, a sense of purpose filled the ship. They were no longer lost, they had a direction. As the Endeavor slowly changed course, the stars outside seemed to shift, moving past the windows like silent watchers. The ship's scanners picked up distant signals, faint but growing stronger. Signals that whispered secrets of the vast emptiness. Hours passed. The crew rotated shifts, keeping watch and monitoring the ship's progress. Juno at the helm noticed something unusual on the scanner. "There's something ahead," she said softly. "A pattern in the stars, almost like a beacon." Mira joined her, eyes fixed on the screen. The beacon pulsed in a steady rhythm, a quiet call through the dark. It was unlike anything they had seen before, but felt strangely familiar. Could it be help? Alex wondered aloud. Or another test? The crew debated silently, unsure whether to trust the signal. Every new contact in this lonely part of space carried risk. Mira made the decision. "We follow it, carefully." The ship moved closer to the beacon, and the feeling of anticipation grew. The air inside the Endeavor seemed charged, alive with possibility. Then, a message arrived, clear and calm, in perfect human language. "You are not alone. We have been watching. Prepare for rendezvous." A wave of relief washed over the crew. Finally, a sign that they were not forgotten, that help was near. But questions remained. Who was watching them? Why had they waited so long? Mira looked around at her crew. "We must stay alert. This is only the beginning." The Endeavor adjusted its course to meet the source of the message. Outside, the stars stretched into lines as they moved faster, propelled by hope and courage. Suddenly, the ship's scanners detected movement. Another vessel appeared, but this one was unmistakably human. Sleek, strong, and radiating quiet power, the human ship closed in, its lights bright and welcoming. As the two ships neared, Mira felt a mix of relief and curiosity. What stories lay behind this rescue? What new challenges awaited? The silence of deep space was breaking, and with it, a new chapter in their journey was about to unfold. The sleek human ship glided closer, its lights casting soft glows through the vast darkness of space. The crew of the Endeavor watched in awe and relief as the powerful vessel approached. It was a sign that they were no longer alone, that someone had heard their silent call in the endless void. Inside the human ship, Captain Ryan prepared to meet the stranded crew. His face was calm but serious. Years of experience had taught him that deep space held both wonders and hidden dangers. Rescuing lost travelers was never simple. Mira stood at the communication panel of the Endeavor, heart steady but filled with questions. The connection opened, and a clear voice came through, warm but firm. "We have been tracking your signal for days. You are lucky we found you before things worsened," said Captain Ryan. "Our mission is to protect explorers like you from unknown threats beyond known space." Relief and hope mixed with cautious curiosity among Mira's crew. They wanted to believe help had arrived, but they knew space was full of surprises. Captain Ryan continued, "There is more to this sector than meets the eye. Ancient dangers lurk in the dark, and many ships have vanished here before. That beacon you found, it was a warning left by others." Mira's brow furrowed. Why warn? Why not help sooner? "Because not all dangers can be stopped with strength alone," Ryan explained. "We study and prepare. Our warship is designed not just to fight, but to protect and learn. We offer you safe passage, but the journey ahead requires trust and cooperation." The Endeavor's crew exchanged looks. This was bigger than they expected. They were no longer just survivors. They had a role to play in something greater. As the two ships drew closer, Ryan invited Mira and a small team aboard his ship. The walk through the docking corridor felt like stepping into a new world. The human warship was vast and full of technology that sparkled with promise. Inside, Ryan showed them the command center, filled with maps and data streams. We patrol the edges of known space, searching for clues about these ancient dangers, he said. Our goal is to protect humanity's future. Mira felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. The universe was vast and mysterious, but with allies like these, perhaps there was hope. Suddenly, a soft alarm sounded. The crew turned to the screens. An unknown object was detected approaching, not fast but steady. Ryan's voice was calm but alert. We do not know if it means harm or help. We will observe closely. Mira nodded, understanding the delicate balance they now faced. The path ahead was uncertain, but with courage and unity, they might face whatever came next. The silent void of space was no longer empty. It held new possibilities, new friendships, and new challenges. The journey continued. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the human warship Resolute and the smaller craft Endeavor. Together they moved carefully through the shadows between stars, united by a shared hope, but also by the weight of the unknown that lingered beyond the horizon. Captain Mira stood on the bridge of the Endeavor, her eyes scanning the glowing instruments and the vast blackness beyond. The encounter with Captain Rian and the human warship had changed everything. No longer were they just stranded travelers. They had become part of a larger mission, a quest to understand and face the unseen forces. At the edge of explored space, the Resolute was unlike anything Mira had ever seen. Its design was sleek and purposeful, built for endurance and exploration. Every system hummed with quiet power, from advanced sensors that could peer through the densest nebulae to shields that glimmered softly, protecting it like an invisible shield. Yet even with this strength, the universe was vast and full of mysteries. The crew of the Endeavor had been invited aboard the Resolute to join the mission. There, amid the quiet hum of the ship, they learned of ancient phenomena, pockets of space where natural laws seemed to twist, where entire star systems vanished without trace, and where strange signals hinted at life beyond understanding. Captain Ryan had assembled a team not just of soldiers, but of scientists, engineers, and explorers. Their goal was to follow these clues, to map these strange zones, and to protect humanity from whatever might lurk there. On this day, as the two ships moved cautiously through a sector marked as a threshold, the scanners picked up something unexpected. Something's out there, said Juno, her fingers flying over the controls. It's not moving fast, but it's large, massive. The screens lit up with shapes, vast structures floating silently in space, remnants of a civilization long gone. Ruins, Alex whispered, awe and worry mixed in his voice. These must be ancient. Look at the size, like cities in the void. Mira felt a chill. The stories Captain Ryan told had prepared them for this moment, but seeing it was different. Here was proof of a lost past, of lives and worlds forgotten by time. Can we get closer? Mira asked. Rian nodded, stepping beside her on the Resolute's bridge. Carefully. But we must respect what we don't understand. As they approached, the ship's sensors picked up faint energy pulses from the ruins, signals that seemed alive in their own right. The energy patterns were unlike anything modern science could explain. Suddenly, the calm was broken by an alert. The energy pulses shifted, growing stronger and more complex. It's a signal, Juno said, but not one meant to welcome us. Mira's heart quickened. The ancient ruins were not empty. They were watching, reacting. We need to study this carefully, Ryan said. We don't know if this is a warning or an invitation. The crew worked side by side, analyzing data, piecing together clues from the past. Hours passed, and the tension grew. The energy pulses started to form, patterns that resembled language, symbols and codes that hinted at knowledge lost for millennia. Alex's eyes widened. This could be a key, a message left by those who built these structures. Mira's mind raced. What if these signals held answers to questions humanity had not yet dared to ask? Could they learn from the past to protect the future? Then, as the ships lingered in orbit, The energy pulses suddenly shifted again. This time they formed a pattern that activated part of the ruins. Lights flickered on distant towers, and silent machinery began to hum faintly. The ruins were waking. The crews watched in silence, caught between wonder and caution. Ryan broke the stillness. "We are not intruders here. We are guests. We must proceed with respect." Mira nodded. The universe was teaching them patience. As night fell in the distant stars, both crews prepared for what might come next. The ruins held secrets and perhaps even hope, a chance to understand the mysteries of space and to forge a future beyond fear. The journey was far from over. With every step, the bonds between the explorers grew stronger, and their courage shone brighter against the dark canvas of space. Together they faced the unknown, united by hope and the will to explore. The ancient ruins pulsed with a strange light as the human warship, Resolute and the Endeavor, drifted in their shadow. The awakening of the long silent structures sent a quiet hum through the air systems of both ships, a hum that seemed almost alive, filled with promise and mystery. Captain Mira stood once again on the bridge of the Endeavor, feeling the weight of what lay before them. The past had reached out, and now it was up to them to listen, to learn what secrets these ruins held and what they meant for humanity's future. As the energy cascaded through the ruins, patterns of light danced across the surfaces, revealing intricate designs and symbols never before seen. The ship's sensors struggled to interpret the signals, but the scientists aboard both vessels worked tirelessly. Alex, poring over the data in the Endeavor's lab, whispered, "This isn't just a message, it's a map, a guide embedded in the ruins themselves." Mira's mind raced. A map to what? To safety? To knowledge? To something even greater? Captain Ryan joined her on the bridge, eyes reflecting the glow from the nearby ruins. "If this map leads to a safe haven or a powerful resource, we must be the first to understand it and protect it." The idea of discovery filled the crew with excitement but also caution. Space had taught them patience. Some secrets were not meant to be rushed. Suddenly, a low vibration ran through the ships as the ruins began to shift. Massive panels slid open, revealing corridors and chambers hidden for centuries. The explorers aboard the Resolute and the Endeavor prepared for an expedition, one that would take them deep into the heart of these ancient constructs. Mira led the team onto the ruins, stepping into a world untouched by time. The air was cool and still, the silence broken only by their footsteps echoing down vast halls. Strange symbols glowed softly on the walls, lighting their path. Juno scanned the environment. "The architecture is unlike anything we've seen before. It's advanced but also organic, like the ruins grew naturally." Alex studied the markings. These symbols match the patterns in the energy pulses. They tell a story of a civilization that lived in harmony with the cosmos. The deeper they went, the clearer the story became. The ruins belonged to an ancient race that had mastered a unique energy source, one that could power entire star systems without harm. They had vanished, leaving behind these guides, not as warnings but as gifts. Mira felt a wave of hope. If we can understand this technology, it could change everything. Energy for every world, safely and forever. But even as they explored, the silence was not empty. Sensors picked up subtle movements, shadows flickering just beyond their vision, soft whispers in the air systems. The crew knew they were not alone. The ruins were alive in ways they could not yet comprehend. Captain Ryan's voice came through the comms, steady and calm. "Proceed carefully. The ruins may hold defenses or guardians, but they also hold knowledge. Respect the balance." Hours turned into days as the team mapped chamber after chamber, collecting data and uncovering mysteries. The energy pulses began to respond to their presence, growing stronger and more rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. One chamber revealed a device, a small, glowing orb suspended in a field of light. Alex reached out, careful not to disturb it. The orb pulsed gently and a soft voice filled their minds, a language beyond words, a feeling of connection and understanding. We are the keepers of balance, the voice seemed to say. Guardians of energy, protectors of life. We offer our knowledge to those who seek peace. Mira closed her eyes, overwhelmed by the message. This was more than technology. It was a hope for a future where energy and life thrived together. As they returned to the ships, the orb's glow faded, but its promise remained. The Resolute and Endeavor sailed away from the ruins, forever changed. They carried with them not just knowledge, but a new mission, to share this gift with humanity and to protect the balance the ancient race had guarded. Mira looked out into the stars, feeling a quiet strength within her. The journey through deep space had tested them, but it had also revealed the true heart of exploration. They were no longer just survivors. They were pioneers of a brighter future. And beyond the dark, the stars waited, silent, vast, and full of endless possibility. Adventure was only just beginning.